I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm bringing you 4 different DIYs. So for DIY number 1, we're going to be using these napkins that I got from Tuesday morning. It's all about fishing in the lake. Now I'm taking apart the plies on this. It's a 3-ply napkin, 2 plies I'm pulling off at the same time. I don't really recommend that because I did tear the napkin. So you should probably tear off 1 ply at a time. Now I cut this in half thinking that I'm going to put my napkins both pieces of my napkin going in the same direction. However, that did not turn out to be the case. So I have this large canvas that I got while I was in Georgia. I'm not quite sure what size it is, but I'm thinking 11 by 14. It could be larger. So I'm taking the bottom half of my napkin, and I'm going to use my homemade watered down glue. You can use 2 cups of glue to a half a cup of water and just mix it up real good. If it's too thin, add more glue. If it's too thick, add more water. Or you could half that into 1 cup of glue and a 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to add the napkin to it. I don't want the green part on my canvas, so I'm having it hang off the bottom of my canvas there. And I'm just doing a section at a time. Now you don't want a whole lot of your watered down glue on there. And then I'm just using this roller that I have to smooth out my napkin. This is not necessary. You could use saran wrap, put that over the napkin, and then smooth it down with your finger. I have the roller, so I'm just going to use it. And here's where I add the other portion of the napkin, and I totally forgot that I was going to do it in the other direction. But, I mean, it is what it is. I just went on with it. I knew if I tried to peel it up and do something with it, it just wouldn't work, so I just went ahead and went with it. Again, I'm putting a top layer of Mod Podge or homemade Mod Podge on top of my napkins just to seal it in. And then I'm going to burn the edges. Well, as you see, that went out, and that's because I have my ceiling fan going. And I sure don't want to turn that thing off. So I'm just cutting the edge of the napkin down a little bit before I try to burn it again. And it is easier instead of using matches if you use those longer lighters, which I did have one, but I totally forgot about it. So once I have the edge burnt, I have this fingernail file, and I did get it from the Dollar Tree. It comes 2 in a pack. So I'm just going over the edge with that. I was trying to do it where you could see it and plus not shake the camera, but I'm sorry that's a little out of your range of viewing, but you just take it along the side of it and get the excess napkin off. So I burnt the edge, the other edge, and sanded it down. And now we're ready to add our ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree to it. Now this ribbon looks a lot like netting or something. I think it's pretty cool. So I did get it in all the colors that they had. And then I'm just going to glue it down with some hot glue here and there. It does not work with Mod Podge because I've tried that before. So hot glue works the best, and then you just put it on where there's more ribbon available. I don't know how else to say that. And I did have it hanging off the edge a little bit there, and I don't want that, so I'm going to bring it in a little bit. And then I'm just going to continue adding my hot glue here and there until I have my ribbon down on the canvas. After that's complete, I take this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue that around the edges of the canvas. And I'm going to start in the middle at the bottom or top. I don't know what it ends up being. One or the other anyway. Bottom, I guess. And I like to cut my rope at an angle. I just think it adheres to each other, the ends adhere to each other better, and it kind of makes it look seamless. Not totally seamless, but better than if you cut them straight. Now I'm going to take this sign that I actually got from the Dollar Tree. It's talking about Dad's fishing rules, and it's metal. And I'm just going to hot glue the corners to the board. So I just do a little bit of glue around each corner. So kind of in an L shape. So just press that on there. And Dad's fishing rules are bait your own hook, clean your own fish, and tell your own fish stories. Well, I have to say, we have a boat and we go out on the lake and I catch my own fish. I do bait my own hook, and I don't clean my own fish. My hubby cleans them for me, and I can tell my own fish stories. So I'm just taking these little wooden fish that I got from Dollar Tree that came on some little clothespins. And you can take them off the clothespins, but you got to be careful because sometimes they just pop off, but then other times they're pretty hard to get off and you do end up breaking them. And I think I did break one of them, but I glued him back together and he worked. So I did put this a wooden sun up in the left hand corner of this, and I got it, I believe, at Dollar General in a package of several of them. Now I'm just going to take some of the leftover rope, excuse me, I'm going to tie a knot in the center of it, and then I'm going to glue it to the bottom of my sign. And I'm making this sign for my husband. I gave him the metal sign, and he said he wanted me to decorate it up a little bit. So this is what I came up with, and I think he was pretty happy with it. He put it in the man cave, so. So I made sure to cut the ends of the rope so that, you know, both sides of it, the ends are cut. And then I'm hot gluing the knot to the canvas. And then I'm going to place the ends of the rope where I want them to be, and then just glue down the ends of them. We always have to deal with those glue strings. So just added a little bit more hot glue to the knot just to make it stick the way I want it to stick on there. And then the next thing we're going to do, or the last thing we're going to do, is make a little hanger for it. Now, I'm using some of the jute that came out of, it came off some of the Dollar Tree items, you know, where it has that plastic on the ends of it. So I'm just taking those plastic ends and hot gluing them to the canvas. So I found out where the middle of the canvas was, and I did an inch from that on either side as to where I was going to place my jute for the hanger. And I really like the way this turned out. What do you think of it? Bait your own hook, clean your own fish, and tell your own fish stories. DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I'm going to use the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I believe it's the larger rope. And then I have this little thing that I got in a store. I think it actually came from Target, the Target dollar spot. But this store has it a lot cheaper than Target has it. So I think I paid $1.50 for it or something. So I'm just going to hot glue the rope across the front of this little ledge that's on this piece. So I didn't glue the rope all the way to the circular part that's holding it on there. I just went to the edge of the ledge. Hey, edge of the ledge, that rhymes. That could be a song or something. Just saying. So I cut my rope off there, and I do it at an angle like I did in the last DIY. But with this rope, I'm adding glue to the ends of it because I don't want it to ravel out. So I'm also going to add hot glue to the ends of the piece that I just cut that we're going to be using to go around the whole circle. I'll just take my little silicone makeup tool from the Dollar Tree to go over the glue so it won't burn my fingers and give me blisters. So I'm going to start the rope at the side where we ended or began the rope that goes around the ledge. So I'm just going to glue that all the way down, all the way around it. When I get to the end, I'll again cut it at an angle and then glue those ends together. It is a little tough to cut. So you might want to make sure you have good scissors out for that. Those are not my best scissors. So I'm putting glue on the very end of the rope so it doesn't ravel out. And then I'm going to smush that down to the end that was already on the piece. Okay, now I have these two little gray ceramic mugs that I actually got from Hobby Lobby, I believe after Christmas, when they were probably 75 to 90% off. And I just put some foam in the bottom of it, and the foam was just packaging material from some kind of large item that my husband had bought. And then I'm taking this Spanish moss and putting it on top of the foam with a little bit of hot glue. And do the same thing to the other little mug. These are so cute. They're gray and they have like an outline of black around the top. I believe they're Robert Stanley's, if that means anything to you. But I just thought they were cute because they're small. And now I just have these ferns. I'm not sure where I got the fern from. But I just cut some pieces off. There were three fern leaves on each of them, and I used 3 of them. So you end up with 9 little fern leaves in each little mug. And I did cut the stems down pretty far, but I left enough so that I could push them down in the foam. Aren't those cute? I love them. Okay, so I printed this. I cut this off on my Cricut, and I got this from Cricut Design Space, and it just says bloom where you are planted. And I thought I had the right size. It is a little bit too big, but I did it in some green vinyl. And I'm just going to put that on the bottom underneath the ledge. Now, I worked with this and worked with this, and I thought I had it, the placement of it correct, but I found out that once I put it on my wall, it was crooked. But I don't think there's anything I could do with it except tear it all off and start over, which I'm not going to do. So I'm just going to live with it. If it gets to me too much, I guess I'll have to remake it. But for now, I'm okay with it. But I know it could get to me later and I might have to go fix it. I couldn't believe that I'd had it on there crooked. But when we went to hang it up on the wall, I was like, are you kidding me? No way. There it was. There it was, crooked. And then my little leaves, they're hanging over the edge onto the rope, which I kind of like that. So I'm just going to put my little cups on there with the ferns. And I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see it. There it is. Isn't that cute? DIY number 3. Now, this one, I have this board that I got from the Dollar Tree. It was $5, but I couldn't pass it up. And I'm just using my Waverly Antiquing wax, and I already put some on it. I thought my camera was rolling, but it wasn't. But I needed a little bit more on it, so I'm just adding a little more. And I did water my antiquing wax down quite a bit, as you can see. And it was the last of what I have in that container, but lucky enough, I have a bigger container. I really like this stuff because, you know, one thing, there's no odor. Okay, so I now have one of these square mirrors from the Dollar Tree. And I believe these are in the candle section, and they have little rubber circles at the bottom. So I'm just putting hot glue on those circles at the bottom, and we're going to put this on the board in a diamond shape instead of the square shape. And now I have Speech is the from my Cricut, and I designed this myself, but I did not do the saying. I got it off of Google, but I was using the black speckled, sparkled, whatever vinyl from the Dollar Tree. And, you know, I had some issues with it. It's not the easiest thing to work with, but I was able to use it. Let's put it that way. But I did have some issues. Now, my board, I did spray it after I put the wax on it. I sprayed it with the clear Rust-Oleum semi-gloss spray. So it says speech is the, then you have the mirror of the, and then the next word is soul. So speech is the mirror of the soul. So I thought, you know, we could all use a little bit of that as a reminder. And I have it hanging in my hallway, so as I walk by it, You know, speech is the mirror of the soul. So we need to be mindful of that in what we say. We need to lift others up and not bring them down. So I'm just adding this little swirly thing at the end of it. And at the beginning of the speech is the. And then I have a couple of little fern leaves or stems or whatever you want to call them that I'm going to put on the other side that's blank. Now this board already came with a hanger, so I didn't have to put that on there. Glitter. It's the black glitter vinyl from Dollar Tree is what I'm using here. I don't know why glitter is such a hard word for me to remember, but it is. And there it is. Speech is the mirror of the soul. And on to DIY number 4. This is our final DIY. So I have this little chair back with a partial seat. And I got this at the same place I got the other item. It was the second DIY. So this too I had seen at the Target dollar spot. So I got it at the same place, and again I got it for half price. So I think I paid $2 or $2.50 for it or something like that. I think it was normally like $5 from Target. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm painting it with the plaster Waverly chalk paint. So I'm painting the whole thing. Front, back, sides, you name it, I'm painting it. You paint it, girl. Paint it. And it already has the holes in the back for you to hang it. So I didn't have to worry about putting a hanger or anything like that on it. So now I'm just going to take my sanding block and I'm just going to give it a nice little sand all over, front, back, sides, the whole thing. But you know, I'm not overly sanding it. I'm just lightly sanding it. So once I get that done, I do wipe it down, and then I have this that I printed up or on not print, but cut it out on my Cricut. It says just a note, and then it has a little song note in it. I thought it would be cute to put on the back of the chair. So I'm just using some black vinyl that I had from Cricut. And then this saying was already on Cricut, so I didn't make it up myself or anything like that. So if you go on Cricut, you'll see it. Just type in bird and it'll come up. So I did take the little note piece that was in the O, and we're going to also use it. So I thought about putting it up there on the top of the chair, but then I thought, well, we're going to add a little birdie to this. So I want it down there where the birdie is. See, right there. So he's chirping away. He's got his little song note there and he's chirping. And now I'm using the last of my little mugs that I had bought from Hobby Lobby. And we're going to do it just like we did in the previous DIY with the mugs. We're just going to do the exact same thing. So I have my mug all ready, and I'm going to add that to the ledge of my chair or the bottom seat of my chair, and there it is. Just a note with my bird and my ferns. And just a reminder, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and I do have a Facebook page if you would like to check that out. And I love you all.